Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever it is for you. I'm Cyclone. This is Let's Play Train Simulator, and we're finally down to the final scenario in our main London to Brighton pack here on the original set of 12 scenarios that went with London to Brighton. That is the Southern Connection career scenario. We're going to go ahead and give this a run. We do have a lot of other scenarios, including this Black Ice, which is with the Flying Scotsman pack, and a bunch of others that are on the standard tab that I'm not going to show you right now, but these are scenarios I'm going to look at a later time because I'm not started on the steam engines yet. I also have another couple trains I think I have in my I'm looking at. The 319 I think it might be a different route, but I know the other 377 does use London to Brighton. There's a couple scenarios in that one. So I am going to look at other scenarios on this route over time. I also have a lot of workshop scenarios I can show you, and because there's about, when I last checked back in March, there was something like 1,800 scenarios that used the London to Brighton route, and that's only the ones that counted. There might be others that didn't show it. So right now we're going to do the last main scenario for right now, then we're going to go ahead and get a look at another DLC following that, and I'll talk about that more a little bit later. I kind of hinted at it in a previous video as well, possibly. But in any case, let's go ahead and get into the that scenario. We're going to go ahead and take a look at Southern Connection. See you in the scenario. Good morning, driver. Today you'll be joining the service at Haywards Heath. Take this train onward to Redhill, where you will join an 8-car unit that is a combination of Reigate and Tonbridge services. You will then take the entire train to London Victoria. We'll begin boarding at this time. Now boarding. So let's take a nice look at the train as we get ready to leave the station here. I will hide my picture here. Look at that. Choice selection of Great British trains. We have a choice selection, ladies and gentlemen. That's a passing AI, as you'll see in a second. I'm the Southern Connection. And let's get back on the train. We'll do the AWS self-test. I did that just in time. Leaving Haywards Heath, we're going to be going at a speed limit of 70 miles per hour. We have a 90 coming up. And we're going to be going to Balcombe as our first stop. It is about 4 minutes away. Or about 3 according to the ETA. I'm going to turn on the pop-up over here, and I'm going to turn on the headlights. So you can see all these buttons here. There's the tail lights, which I could turn them on, but there's not really much of a point. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn on the daytime lights here. I believe this is daytime. Marker lights only. No, that's not what I want. Night running, I want daytime, which is this. There we go. So now we're back at the front of the train. And we're going. We're at 50 miles per hour already. So, quick explanation of what's going on in this scenario. And I'm going to try not to miss Balcombe, because I almost did it on the previous run. I'm apparently way up there for some reason. So when we get up to East Croydon, that's where all the activity starts. I'm going to keep an eye on this area over here. And the problem is with train number 16, which is on this area over here. It eventually goes off of the map following the Selhurst DPT arrival, Selhurst Department arrival, and it collides with the train that's waiting up here. My worry is that there's another train somewhere in the scenario that goes up there, stops there, and causes the collision. So what I am hopeful for is that this train that I believe that was sitting there waiting to be collided with, I'm hoping that train was from a different scenario and that clearing the cache fixed the issue. I'm going to show you the moment when I first saw the collision in the first place. Because it was right as I was arriving at Clapham Junction, and I, needless to say, when I tried to rerun it and the same collision happened, I was livid. Because I had a perfect run going. I would have had 875 points at that point, and I was on one stop away from a perfect scenario, and I was ready to call it a night. And now I've tried to rerun this 3 times, so I'm a little bit testy and a little bit upset right now, and it's causing me to not drive safely. Here is the Usa Viaduct. Hide that for a second so you can get a nice picture. And as we finish crossing the viaduct, you can see Balcombe Station coming up in the distance. So I'm going to cut off the throttle because we are going to be there in plenty of time, but I'm not going to... When I say plenty of time, it means if I do a proper stop. If I slow down early, I am going to be late. So I'm still going to do a proper stop here. Which for me is just making sure I stay in the green. I want to try not to jolt the passengers too much because there is a comfort level that you can exceed here. I'm not losing a lot of speed on this so far, so I'm going to keep an eye on this number very, very cautiously here and see if I need to increase my brake application. I'm down to 60 right now, and I think I'm going to be okay. This is going to be alright so far. In fact, I'm down to 50 now, and I'm just under half a mile from the station. So I'm going to actually remove the brake application at this point. I was a little early, it looks like. But now I will reapply it for a moment to get down to 40. There's another train going by. That's number 2, a down Brighton service. I don't know if the label was on for that. So I'll just tell you that's what it is. And I'm going to restore the labels because you can see the label up there. So the label was not on. So now I'm going to go ahead and stop. And this time I will do a level 2 brake application because I came a little further than I expected to that as I was looking at the label. Let's go ahead and stop as soon as we can in this area. Oops, I did not mean to go to full service, but we did. And I think I missed the 3 and 4 car stop, but what can you do? Doors are open. Arrival at Balcombe, platform 1. Leaving Balcombe, we are going at a speed limit of 90 miles per hour, but we are going to come to an 80 mile per hour speed limit just as we reach it. So we are going to have to cut off our power at 80 by the time we reach that speed limit. There will also be a 70 speed limit soon after that before we actually get to our next stop at Three Bridges Station, which is scheduled for 7 minutes from now, and we're going to be there in about 4. So we have lots of time for this one. We're coming up now on the Balcombe Tunnel. And I don't remember in the past hearing this kind of wind audio in the tunnel. I did recently change my Realtek driver over to a high definition driver instead, and I think that's made a difference in the audio you hear in the tunnel. So it's a little disconcerting to hear that audio in my ear right now, but at the same time, you didn't hear this on the Realtek driver, which means I have a better quality sound driver at this point, as far as I'm concerned, and as a result, you get to hear that audio in the tunnel, which previously you were not able to hear on this same route. So, before I continue that discussion, let's get down to 70 miles per hour. We still have a little time to do it. In fact, even though we have a 90 after that, I'm going to actually not continue to go up to 90 after that signal. I'm just going to go ahead and let the speed do whatever it does as I maintain throttle. Because we're going to be coming up very, very quickly on Three Bridges platform and our Three Bridges station, and we're going to have a lot of time to kill there. So there'll be time for pictures. And you can see that we have a 60 right before the station too, so there's no point in us speeding up and rushing in when we're going to have to slow down anyway. There it is right there. We have to be there in 5 minutes. We're within 3. So this is nothing. We're just going to keep this going as it is. It's going to be a challenge to make this take 3 minutes. There is the number 3 down Brighton. hell you never say hi to me? I don't understand. So now I'm going to start slowing down for our stop. And what I'm going to do after I get a picture is I'm going to skip a batch of time here because it's going to be a long wait for you if I keep you with me. So I'm going to skip ahead and I'm going to try to get you on the other side of this station stop so you don't have to wait with me this entire time. I feel that's an appropriate thing to do here as the presenter, so I don't bore you too much. I know, this is already boring enough. Ha 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 ha! There are people who say that, by the way. I'm just joking. If you're watching this, you probably aren't bored by this. So, since I said I have lots of time, I am certainly rushing in for having lots of time. Let's lower the brakes here. And I'm going to take them off now because I am going a bit slow for my liking now. So I'm going to coast in. There's our 4-car stop. I should have stopped at that. I am going to go ahead and just slow down now, just to do it properly. There's actually, because there's a lady up there, I'm going to carry on to where that lady is. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to give that lady access. So there we go. Doors are open. And while I make a coffee, I'll see you on the other side of this. I don't even drink coffee. Leaving Three Bridges, our speed limit is 60 miles per hour. And welcome to the somewhat more difficult portion of this journey, ladies and gentlemen. Because we have to get to Gatwick Airport in about 3 minutes. And as you can see, we're already late after that 3-minute holdover at Three Bridges. So we're going to be rushing this stop. And now all of a sudden we're on time. Amazing how that works. But we have to be on time with this stop. This is one of the stops that can penalize us if we're not careful with our time. So I did mention as we were leaving the Three Bridges station, we passed over Hazlitt Avenue East. And the road coming up, I believe, is Crawley Avenue. There's a closed station in this area for Tinsley Green and Gatwick Airport combined. That station no longer exists. This might be the area where it... Well, no, this is the sidings. I don't think this is the... Could be where the station was. I don't know. This might be around where the station was, because it looks like there's some sidings here. But I don't know the exact location. If you want to know what that junction was, I don't really have it up on the map right now, so I can't really tell you. I think it is just some sidings, if you want to be honest. I'm going to pull back here and take a look. No, that's not... Yeah, it actually has some sidings. The Crawley New Yard. Crawley New Yard. There you go. That was a train that just went by. I think that was another down Brighton service, if I remember correctly. Let's take a look, actually. Yeah, there it is. Number 5 down Brighton. There you go. I'm coming in a little too slowly for my liking, so I should have been paying more attention to my driving. Let's do that now, shall we? Put some speed back on for a moment. And for now, I'm going to center the service on me so we know if I want to show you something on the map, I can do so. Now I'm going to start slowing down. So this is Gatwick Airport that we are entering. I think we're coming in at a good speed right now, so let's see if we can maintain that. And I'm now going a little too slow for my liking. So we're going to make sure we get into the station, and then I'm just going to screech to a halt wherever we end up. And now I'm going to screech to a halt wherever we end up. That would be the perfect spot. So I've gone ahead and done a level 3 brake application. And we are at the sign. Arrival at Gatwick Airport, P2, Platform 2. Leaving Gatwick Airport, our speed limit is 70 miles per hour. We are going to be heading to Redhill, and as we see, our stop at Redhill is where we need to connect to the 8 cars on our task list. So that's what we're going to be doing with Southern Connection. We're going to connect to that train. And this is why our train is called Southern Connection. So that way we know that we have to connect to that train. Now we are going to hit 70 before we reach the 90, so we should be okay for speed. Let's move up to the task and take a look and see if there is actually a name for this train. I don't think there is. I think we just connect to the cars and that's it. So there's no name for this train at all. So we're going to go ahead and keep an eye on our service now. By the way, we just passed the A23 a little while ago. Look at the snow. The A23 actually connects to the M23 through a roundabout. I'm not sure how, since the motorway goes in both directions. Here is Horley Station. Victoria Road crosses under Horley Station. Or that might have been going over the Horley Station. One or the other, it's around Horley Station. And Balcombe Road is going to be one of the roads we pass here. I did not bother making notes on all the roads here. Here's train number 6. As you see, it's just train number 6. There's no service attached to it, so we don't know what it's doing. And you will see a few trains like that. 16 is actually one of those trains, and they're typically ones that get portaled off the map, I think. They cease to exist. So we are starting to get close to our 90 mile per hour speed limit. We are going to be going through Haywards Station next. I'm going to go ahead and start taking the throttle off just a little because we are getting high enough that the loss of time is pretty much immaterial at this point. Slight lag there, I apologize for that. I am on medium quality to try to reduce the lag, but I can only do so much without lowering the graphics completely. There's train number 7. Again, it's just train number 7. And I think the lag in this scenario is simply because there are a lot of AI trains in this scenario. If there were not so many AI trains, I wouldn't have as many problems with lag in this scenario. So, there's Haywards Station, by the way. So that is the reason that the lag is showing up, because there is a lot of AI. It is meant to increase your enjoyment of the scenario. But some of these scenarios, if you put too much AI in them, they only run under 64-bit Train Simulator. And since 64-bit did not exist back when this scenario was created, naturally this scenario does work under 32-bit, but it does have a little bit of lag, as I was saying. So there's nothing I can do about that. It's going to be part of the scenario if I'm playing on 32-bit. When I get my 64-bit working, I will try and do more things on 64-bit, but there are scenarios that will not work on 64-bit either. So I'm going to have to balance between the two what I need to do. So we have a speed limit restriction coming up to 75 miles per hour. Coincidentally, we also have a double yellow signal that's going to be before that speed limit. There's train number 8. That's the down Horsham. Now, I didn't really need to slow down too much yet, so I'm going to go ahead and maintain throttle for right now. We know that we're going to be passing the red signal, that this double yellow represents 2 signals ahead, because there's Redhill right there. That's where our connection is. We have to get down to 20 before Redhill. We will do that. But for right now, I'm maintaining speed. When we come up to the red, I'll be slowing down I'll be down around 50 or lower by that point. So I'm going to wait to request to pass the red until we're about a quarter of a mile out. The reason is because I want to show you what happens to the red signal as we pass it. So I'm going to zoom in and give you a binocular view here. As I put some speed back on. We're 0.3 of a mile away. In fact, there is the red signal right there. So next to each signal, and you may have been noticing on some of the signals as we go here, there's a panel that if you pass that panel, it stops you. If it's a red signal, it's an emergency brake. We're requesting to pass the signal. Notice the white shunt lights come on the signal right there. That panel is now disabled. We can now proceed past that signal and not come to an emergency stop. So now that we've done that, I'm going to zoom back out. I'm going to go to the front of the train. And let's go ahead and get ready to connect to our service. I'm going to hit the brakes so we don't come in too fast for the 20. And I can release it now, and I can continue. Once I hit the transition, I'm going to slow down even further. I put a little more down just to be safe. So now I'm going to transition the speed down a little bit now. And 10 is a good enough speed for now. So you can see the Redhill 2 label. I'll take that off for the time being. 10 is too fast. I will derail the train at this point. So I'm going to have to slow down a little more. At this point, I'm probably safe to not derail as long as I don't have any gas on my throttle. If I have the throttle up, I could still derail the train. I'm going to slow down a little more. And a little more. And brake. And I'm just going to coast in now. There we are. Doors are going to be opened. Doors are open. I'm going to get back in that cab. I'm going to shut off the headlights because it's going to look funny if I don't. I'm going to make sure that reverser is neutralized. And I'm going to put the brakes on level 2. I'm going to bring up my F4 HUD. I'm going to move to the front cab very quickly. By doing that, back to my F3 HUD. AWS self-test. Headlights are going to go on. Oops. There we go. And this cab is now ready. Let's take a look outside at this train now that we've connected. Leaving Redhill in our newly enlarged train. We are going at a speed limit of 20 miles per hour. We are still on a junction track, and that is the reason. So we're going to be moving over to the main line. Until our entire train is on the main line, we must maintain a 20 mile per hour speed limit. We might be able to get up to 30 while we're still on the junction, because the 20 is just for that stub. 30 might be for the junction, which is kind of ironic because that's 2 different speeds for the same pace of track at that point. So as you see, our speed has gone up to 30, so I'm actually going ahead and increasing the speed a little bit more. We should get up to our line speed in just a moment. And there we are. We're now at 75. Now you notice the sign ahead disappeared, but I think the 30 was just for the junction, so I think 75 does apply, even though there is a sign up ahead that disappeared. There's another crossover track. So you see our next stop is East Croydon, and we have 15 minutes to get there. This may seem like a lot. And really it is, because it's only about 9 miles away. But there's probably something happening, because when you see that short of a distance covered by a very fast train, there's probably something going on. Let's turn the label back on, number 9. While I'm getting up to 75, we're going to have an 80 after this, but I'm going to cut the throttle back for the purpose of maintaining speed while I'm looking at the map. I'm going to move up to the corner and see if anything's happening up here yet. This corner is still empty, so far we are good. The trains up here are still not moving, so the action has not begun up here yet. This is going to be the area that we're going to be coming to next. That's where East Croydon is. But there's going to be some action in front of the station as well. So let's see what happens as we come up ahead. I'm not going to spoil it too much. We are now coming into an 80. That is now our effective speed limit. This station, pardon me, this station I believe is Safford's station. It may have also been Earlswood. I may have just missed the station. But I have a feeling this is Honeycrock Line. So then this up here is probably 3 arch lines. So that means that... or wait a minute. No, we're already on the Redhill line. That was Earlswood Station. I missed Safford Station when I was going to the map. So we are on, as you can see, maybe. We're going into the tunnel right now. That is, I believe, the Merstham Tunnel. Because we are on the line on the left. That is the Redhill line. I was giving you the wrong station. So that was Merstham Station. I was in the wrong part of my notes. I apologize for that. That was Merstham Station. We're on the Merstham Tunnel right now. We're going under the M23. We already went under the M25, which is the circular railway that circles London, or the motorway that circles London. 90 is our speed limit. Because I know what's ahead, I'm not too worried about the speed limit right now. I might even just leave it at 80. Because I know this is a long distance, a short distance to cover for this speed. So I know there's probably something going on. There's a 09A down Reigate. I don't know what 09B is and why it's not just 9 and 10. So I'm going to assume an AI train was added after the fact. They just used A and B so they didn't have to redo their numbering. That's my guess. But look at that. We have a double yellow. So I knew something was going to be happening up here. So I'm going to lower the speed just to see if we can maintain a good enough speed to follow whatever trains are in front of us here. There is something up in front of us. The action has begun in this part of the map. So I'm down to 60. I'm going to see if I can maintain that going through the next signal. If it's a double yellow, then we are going slow enough to proceed without having to worry about stopping. We know we're following the train very well at that point. And sure enough, as we look ahead here, you can see that it is indeed a double yellow signal. 75 is our effective speed limit. We effectively don't care right now. I'm just going to maintain around 60 at this point. There is train number 10 hanging out over there. That's on the Quarry line. So these signals are fairly far apart, so we're going to have to keep an eye on them, especially if we see a single yellow, because we can't just assume the next signal is going to be passable. This, I believe, is Colston South. And we have a flashing yellow at this point. So we did not see a flashing double yellow. What that means is that if we were a little bit slower, we would have seen a flashing double yellow for our diversion. So now that we see a flashing single yellow, we know that we have to diverge tracks. Now, I don't think we have to go down to a slow speed to do that, but I'm going to go ahead and do that just because I feel safer doing that. I've seen some cars do strange things on this game. I have a story from Cahoon Pass to tell you. You may or may not have seen that. I don't know if I'm actually going to put that in the video or not yet as I'm talking here. So there is our diverge signal. We have a feather junction indicating we're going one track over. And checking East Croydon. Actually, that's not East Croydon. That's just the tracks. Let's check East Croydon, shall we? Ah, yep, trains are still hanging out there. Nothing up here in the corner yet, so it's going to be an interesting drive coming up. So we are taking the junction right now. I'm going to start speeding up again after the junction. We did have a yellow, so we have to assume the next signal could be red. And as we look ahead, you can actually see it is yellow. So, yeah, it was red. We're just going slow enough that we're going to be able to catch up to that signal. I believe it is a single yellow at this point. Yep, I zoomed in to see. It is a single yellow signal. So we have to assume the next signal is red unless it changes before we pass it, and it did. So we have a double yellow now. We're going to proceed. I'm going to just maintain 45 for right now because it seems to me that we are following a train. Now, what this tells me is that the train we're following is probably going to be going over to a stop at South Crowley. Is that what it was? No, South Croydon. South Croydon. We are going to be passing Purley Station in a moment, which I believe is this one right here. There's train number 11 over there on the side, by the way. Can't really see it from this angle, but it is over there. There it is. We are now under the effect of a single yellow. We have to assume the next signal is red until we see otherwise. So I'm back down to about 40 miles per hour. So I said there was going to be something happening up here. I was not kidding. There is stuff happening up here. But now we can see that it is a single yellow ahead. I'm going to go to the mini-map for a moment because we're in no danger of speeding. And I'm going to just center on where we are. As you see, we did pass Purley. We are coming up on Purley Oaks. And there is South Croydon straight ahead from there. So I've not bothered to speed up any here because I'm still under a single yellow. There's no point speeding ahead because I suspect a train is stopping ahead. And for that reason, I am driving cautiously. Naturally, I do not want to crash into this train or enter his block while he's still there. Here is Purley Oaks Station. We are still under a single yellow. The block we're in would have now been a double yellow. So single yellow. We are chasing yellows here. If you remember the football service that we took in scenario number 7, before we did the other few scenarios between that and here, that was our pure chasing yellows scenario. We had yellows almost right from the get-go. And we only had a brief stint of greens in the middle, and then it was right back to chasing yellows. So we followed the same train all the way down the Brighton main line. But we got there on time, and that's what you can do if you follow the signals properly. So the signal ahead is looking like it's... Well, I see a yellow, but I have to see if that's our line. Ours might be red. So I'm going to... It looks like our signal is red because I think that's the one on the left that applies to us. So for right now, I have to assume that there is a stop at South Croydon up ahead. I cannot pass this signal at this time. And that is South Croydon up ahead as well. So I have to keep that in mind. If we look ahead on the mini-map, you will see indeed there is a train in the station. Now this one seems to be coming the other direction, which is very interesting. So I'm trying to drive defensively here, but I'm not going to be able to stop. Oh, I have a yellow now. I can actually go ahead. There's train number 13 coming by. Maybe that's the train we were waiting for. Now, you may have noticed a bit of a bounce in the train there. What I'm noticing is that the bounce in the train happens when things are loaded. So if there's a lot loading, there's a bit more of a bounce in the train. So a lot of buildings just loaded in at the same time there. And for that reason, we are looking at quite a bounce. Quite a bounce. So our speed limit is 60. Who cares? We're under a yellow. The signals are being a little glitchy there, which is interesting. The signs. Here's another train coming along. The Down Crawley. We have a proceed aspect, so I'm going to speed up, and it is a double yellow. So we are clear to proceed a little bit faster at this time, but we're almost at our stop, so it doesn't matter. In fact, 2 signals ahead is a red signal. That is right before East Croydon. So once again, I'm going to assume that a train has stopped in our path. That means after this single yellow ahead, I need to be prepared to come to a stop. I didn't mean to do a level 3 application, so we'll go back to a level 1. We are cleared for platform 1 at this time, but we're still under a yellow signal, so that means that we're going to have a red coming into the platform. Which is an extremely unfortunate circumstance for me, because the line ahead looks green. They could just put us on that line, but no. We were planned for this platform. We have to come into this platform, and now we have to stop at this signal. I'm going to take the label off for a second. But you can see the train up ahead labeled there. Now, I suspect we're going to get that signal change in just a moment here. There's the tram service up there, I believe, by the way. Chance to show you that. So I'm going to bring up the mini-map for just a second. I'm going to show you this now that we're right under the signal and we're stopped here. If I go to the mini-map, you can actually see right up here where we are. There's the train that's leaving our station right now. So we now have a yellow. We are now cleared into East Croydon, Platform 1. Speed limit on this stub is 30 miles per hour, but it doesn't matter because we shouldn't be coming in faster than 30 anyway in this station. We have to get down to 45 before the station, so there's lots of time to slow down. We're going to be here for a little while as well, so I'm going to go ahead and get up to the end of the platform because I know there's a red signal at the end of the platform. That red is going to be there for a little while. So we're going to be sitting here even after we finish our pickup. I will rejoin you at the time that we do that to show you what's going on ahead. So I'm going to go just a little further because I have the time to do so, and I need to get the whole train in the station anyway. So I'm just kind of inching forward at this point. And that should do for the train getting in the station. Doors are open. While we're waiting at the station here, I'm just taking a quick look at the mini-map. Nothing has collected up here. So I think this was just a collection of trains left over from a previous scenario. And I think that's what caused the collision, because the other trains here are moving. Train number 15 is now on the move. We're going to see that in just a moment, because we're going to be ready to leave in a moment. I'm going to go ahead and zip ahead and show you what is going on up ahead. This is what we're waiting for. The NO1 up London Bridge is what we're waiting for. I'm going to show you the other train coming along, which is train number 15. As you see, we now have a yellow signal. I'm going to plop down and save at this point just for my own sanity. And we're going to go ahead and start going down right here. And our speed leaving East Croydon is 30 miles per hour. And I said for my own sanity, but also because it's a long wait. And I think we have that clearing the cache may have cleared the trains that were causing the problem, because there's still nothing up there as far as I know. I'm going to hope that remains the case, but I am going to keep an eye on that corner as we get going here. And I'm going to, if you see me panicking, I think there's going to be another collision happening. So we're going to see what happens as the scenario goes on. I can tell you, though, that I believe train number 16 is also now on the move. Because if I go to the mini-map here, there it is right there. So it is now on the move. And it is a stopping service as well. So it's heading towards that area. Now we have plenty of time for our stop at Clapham Junction, so we don't have to worry too much about the time on this. That's why I'm going to be a little more lenient on the speed. I'm not going to go quite to the speed limit. So I'm going to get to 60, maybe 65 once I'm in the 70. And then I'm going to try to manage speed in that area as I keep an eye on the activity in the area here. I know train number 17 also causes an issue in one of my runs. So train 16 might have already left the path here. I'm going to find out in a minute here. No, I think 16 has already left the path. Let's go to the minimap for a second. And 16 is heading off the map. Oh no, that's the N1 up London Bridge. Sorry. That's a different train. So 16 is in the station. We're going to pass by 16 in just a moment. As I said, I'm being casual on the speed because I got a full minute and a half to make this stop. So there's train number 16. That's the train that caused us collisions last time. So now I think the path might be clear once that NO1 train leaves the map. But like I said, I am going to keep an eye on this upper corner because that is where it happened. That was train number 17, I believe, by the way. Now 17's problem, when 17 got back to East Croydon, which was down here, it had trouble on these tracks going into that's not where it is. It had trouble on the tracks coming into East Croydon, so it actually got hung up on one of the tracks here, and it derailed. I don't know how that happened, but it did. And that's one of those weird bugs that just happens, and apparently no one knows how to fix it. It could happen to any train at any time, and that's why you have to save your scenarios as you go, especially where there's a lot of AI. If there's not a lot of AI in the scenario, and there's not a lot to do, you may just be able to do it in one run. But very often you may want to save your progress. Otherwise you are taking the risk of losing what you've done. So going back to the corner here, which is up here, train number 16 is going to be coming around here. Not yet, but it is supposed to come into the arrival section here. There's 17, there's 16. So 17 got ahead of 16. Here's train number 19 in the meanwhile. Are you confused yet? As you see, we do have green signals, so that's why I'm not really paying attention to the signals. They are green all the way to Clapham Junction, I believe. So I'm going to start slowing down for this 60 right now. I'm going to again drop it a little bit low. There's 18. It got past number 19 somehow. Now, I've not been naming the stations that we've been passing. That station, I'm not even going to try and get right now. But I believe that was Streatham Common, because I think we have the junctions coming up. Either that, yeah, this is the junctions. That was Streatham Common. We did pass several other stations while we were going. The next station is going to be Balcombe and then Wandsworth Common. I'm now down to 55, so I'm okay for my speed at this time. So let's check train number 16 here. It's coming around to the curve, and there's nothing up here to stop it. So yep, clearing the cache seems to have solved my problem. I will show you the what I found out, and I'm actually going to show you that now as we pass train number 20. And after that train passes, I'm going to take a moment now to show you what happened in that, and we're going to come right back to this as soon as you see that. You're kidding me. What? Just what? Another train coming in, SWT SO4. And an AI train derailed. You can see that number 16. That was one of the trains that was involved in that AI collision you just saw. So that's the train I'm keeping an eye on. I'm going to try to follow him out of Thornton Heath, going south, while I continue to Clapham Junction. I'm not even worrying about my speed right now. You may be noticing that I'm just kind of letting my speed do whatever it does. So this may affect me in the end. See you at Clapham Junction if I make it. By the way, there's train number 17. See you at Clapham Junction. So I have an interesting development in the story of this number 16 train. It's taken the path off Selhurst over to the Selhurst Depot arrival. So I think I'm going to have to keep an eye on this area to see where the train collision occurs, because I think another train must take this route somehow. Let's take another look out at the map here. There are no trains in the area. There's nothing. It wasn't this guy, was it? I hope it wasn't this guy. He seems to be coming to a slowdown now, but he is heading... Oh no. Don't tell me that's it. 16 has started... Oh no. I'm just going to let my train stop because it doesn't matter. He follows this path. I'm going to open the doors. Yeah, there it was. So it was an AI collision. I was just waiting for it to happen. You saw the train go through the other one. So I hope you enjoyed that little bit of terror that I went through in that run. We are coming to the Balcombe Junction, which joins us from South London Network. It is the the Crystal Palace line to Streatham Hill, via Streatham Hill. And now we're passing Balcombe Station. Once again, I am going to drop a little bit of speed here only because, again, I know we have plenty of time. Here's train number 21. We're also past the point where train number 17 derailed itself. So at this point, I'm pretty certain we are going to be clean all the way in. And we're going to get to see some good traffic, I think, around Clapham Junction. Because if we've seen this many trains so far, there's got to be some stuff happening around Clapham Junction. There's got to be. I left the labels on so you can see the trains as we come up to them. There is Clapham Junction coming up. We are going through Wandsworth Common Station at this time. Nightingale Lane is the road that just went over us following Wandsworth Common. Or Nightingale Lane, sorry. And we're going to be coming up to the Falcon Junction when we get to Clapham Junction. That's just before Clapham Junction. The Falcon Junction, in fact, joins the Southwestern Main Line, which is considered the Portsmouth Direct Line in our DLC list. It goes from, as you can imagine, from Portsmouth up to London Waterloo. London Waterloo is about two stations down from the point where we diverge with it. Queen's Park Station is along that road. There's a couple stations after that that go to London Waterloo. It's too bad that that was not represented in the South London line. South London Network. That would have been a nice addition to the South London Network because there's so many routes that some of these lanes are used in. It's too bad that we didn't just merge those as well. But I guess you could always have someone in the workshop somehow merge that in and just delete the rest of the Chatham Main Line. That's an option. Or Southwestern Main Line. Okay, so here's some of the excellent traffic. SWT N03, SWT SO3. And I need to slow down for Clapham Junction, so I'm going to start doing that right now. I should have done it earlier, but I wanted to catch up to this traffic to show you what was going on over here. There's train number 22, meanwhile. Notice that the trains on the SWT line are using the 377 from the actual 377 DLC. This is not included with this route, but it is generally the same train. It just is a different skin, a different model. So we get to see that skin in that DLC. So we are pulling into Clapham Junction, and I think we are clean at this point. I'm just going to go back and check what number 16 is up to, but it should be leaving the map very shortly. So I'm going to get far enough in the station that I can come to a full stop inside the station. And then I'll take a look and I'll get you some pictures as well. There's SWT SO4 as well. Doors are open. Here's number 16. No problems this time. It would have crashed by now, so 16 is on the way out. And there it goes. Leaving Clapham Junction, platform 12. Our speed limit is 60 miles per hour. And we are about 2.5 miles from London Victoria, which makes the fact that we have to be there in about 4 minutes not make any sense, given the speeds we're going to be going. So I already have run this last section once from the previous run, and I found out that there is not enough time to make the stop properly in the platform at London to Brighton. So I'm going to try to maintain as much speed as I can to get there, but we have to make the stop before we get past the time of 11:32:40, because if we don't make the stop at that point, we're literally going to be late and we're going to lose our precious points. So I'm going to, for the purpose of getting a full score scenario, I'm going to just open the doors whenever I need to open the doors. That's the best way to put it. I'm going to open the doors when I need to. If I'm not at the buffer, there's nothing I can do about that, because I can't get the on-time score if I don't stop. If I stop at the buffer. So I am going to go ahead and leave labels on for a little while. I'm going to turn them off as I get to London Victoria, but I am going to go ahead and at least show you the labels for the last train as we come up to it at London Victoria. And I need to make sure I don't speed. We are going up a 1 in 86 grading. It was a 1 in 84 as we came up the bridge. It's now shallowing out as we cross the Portsmouth direct line. We just left that line, and we're now crossing over it. Over this rail bridge. We're going to be coming up on train number 25, which is not what I was trying to say. And we're also going to come up on the Battersea Park station just behind it here. It is only on the one side. There is no station on the side that we're on, so you can see it only on the one side. So I'm trying to maintain 45 for the time being. This is a little challenging knowing the time restrictions we have. We are coming up on a downhill, so I am going to have to slow down for the 40. And I've actually started doing that a little preemptively so I don't speed into the 45 further on the downhill. Which I don't think we can do anyway. The 40 is before the downhill. But we have to get down to 20, so I need to slow down now. We do have a double yellow. That double yellow means that the buffer is 2 signals away, and that signal is always red because you can't go past the buffer for obvious reasons. So I'm going to go ahead and lower the speed right now to where we are, just under 30, and I'm going to drop it further to 20 in a moment. I should have actually kept it at 40, but I panicked and wanted to slow down a little bit before the 20 as well. I'm going to try to maintain the 20 miles per hour as we carry along here, but this may prove to be a challenge on this downhill, because I'm going to have to drop under 20 so we don't end up speeding on the downhill. As you saw, it just tried to make me speed. And again, it's making me gain speed. So we're now on a 0-0, but we are still gaining speed because the back of our train is on the hill. So I'm going to lose a little speed again. Turn the labels off for a moment. You saw the signal, by the way. We are cleared into platform 19. We have to be there in exactly 1 minute. So like I said, I'm going to make sure I'm stopped in exactly 1 minute, and those doors are opening in 1 minute, no matter what. If the cars are not all in the station, so be it. I have to slow down before the station entry as well, otherwise the emergency brake will kick in. I think it's around 12 miles per hour, I'm not 100% sure. So I'm trying to slow down to 12, and I can speed up into the platform from there if I need to. So there it is. I'm now going to go ahead and speed up a little bit coming in. I'm going to show you this train, which is NO2 up London Victoria. There's an SE002 over on the side. And I now need to stop the train, so I'm going to put on a full brake application so that we are on time. And the doors are open, so we should be on time. Yes, the back of the train is not in the station. Sorry, guys. The scenario is set up badly for the timing. You guys get to stay on the train. Have fun. So if you like what you saw here today, as I'm going to get my 1,000 points in the most orthodox way possible, if you like what you saw, make sure you like the video and subscribe. And if you like seeing passengers left on a train, say so in the comments. There's our timeliness bonus for 125 points. We're good to go here. So we are done this scenario. I got my 1,000 points in the most improper way possible, but you can't do it any other way. That last stop is just garbage. So that's a stop that needs to be edited badly and a fix done for that scenario. But other than that, that is a complete scenario. That is a perfect score in the most unorthodox way possible. And we are going to take that and call it a day. So we got our 1,000 points. Needless to say, I have matched with the global, and I'm part of the top, even though you don't see me there. So if you like that, again, like the video, subscribe to the channel. And what are we going to do next time? You know what? We already went to standard mode on Cahoon Pass. We introduced the ES44AC. But I noticed that we have the EMD SD42 here. This is, again, an older model. But back when the game was first released, Cahoon Pass came with the game, and so did Castle Rock Railroad. There's a couple others as well. Heddenburg North is down here as well. I'm probably saying that wrong. It's a fictional route, so who knows. So that's here too, and we're going to see the Class 37 on that route. That's the UK fictional route, obviously. But as I was noting, we are up here at Castle Rock. This is the original Castle Rock Railroad. This is not the workshop version. This is the original version. I think this is a good place to introduce the EMD SD40. I might even be able to introduce the F7 here, and that will take care of both trains that are part of the Cahoon Pass. So since both trains are on Cahoon Pass, I might actually do these Castle Rock scenarios, and then I'll make a trip back to the Cahoon Pass, and I'll see what else we can do on the Cahoon Pass to get in trouble, and get some things done over there. So we're going to have a US stint of traffic going on here. So Castle Rock Railroad, I just want to remind you, as well as Hednesborough North and that German one that begins with an S, I can't pronounce it. Those three are not available anymore. You cannot get those routes anymore. They are available as free versions on the workshop. And I'm pretty sure if someone were to convert these scenarios, that the people can convert these scenarios to be played on that route. I know that fixed scenarios get posted on the site all the time, and this would be a case of fixing the scenario to work with the new version of the route that someone at Dovetail Games officially released. So I think this would be something that might fall within acceptability. And I may look into posting some of these on the workshop. If I do, I will try to include the links to them in the descriptions, but there's no guarantee that's going to happen. Nonetheless, I have to learn how to do that too. I think it's just a matter of changing the route folder that is referenced somehow. But in any case, Castle Rock Railroad is what I want to do next time. And as you see, we have a lot of scenarios there. One that is 80 minutes long, Call of Duty. One that is 25 minutes long, and the rest fall to the 30, 35, 40 range. So they're mostly short except for that one. And I think over here on the career tab, there's also a Castle Rock Railroad that is also in a career scenario. There it is. Well, that's Canadian Mountain Passes. That's not what I'm looking for. But there is Castle Rock Railroad. And you can see that we do have a 45 and a 30. And by the way, you saw Canadian, those are career scenarios. I think those are the same two scenarios, actually. Feeling the Hint and Transcontinental Link. I think they're just career versions of the Castle Rock scenarios from over here. Oh, no, they're not. They're different. They're different. 4 different scenarios for the F7. Fantastic. I have not decided on the next UK route yet. I'll let you know when I make that decision. It'll probably be somewhere during Castle Rock Railroad I decide that, or back in Cahoon. I will let you know once I decide. For right now, I have a lot of scenarios to do on Castle Rock Railroad. In the meantime, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything, especially when the new UK route comes out here. And I'm going to go ahead and say see you next time. And I look forward to having you along for another journey here on Let's Play Train Simulator. For now, I'm Cyclone. Have a wonderful day, evening, or night, whatever it is for you. London to Brighton is done for now. Cyclone out. See you next time. Bye-bye.